Hello everyone, welcome to EVTN News, Eternal Vegano Television Network, and I have a few stories that are a little bit late breaking that didn't make it into the description of today's video. One of them apparently is Vegano said that Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, he said his wife is a man, and so is Michelle Obama. That's what Vegano said. So, starting out with a little bit of interesting information, Vegano certainly mixes it up, keeps everyone guessing, keeps everyone on their toes. That I have other stories. We'll start out with the news over the week, and um, another story that didn't make it into the description. You've probably all seen the Last Supper portrayal at the Olympics, and I'm going to be discussing a very minimal amount of that. But Bishop Cozzens, who organized the Eucharistic Revival, he was very disappointed by it, and what did he call for? I don't know. I forget what he called for, but definitely came out against it. So did Bishop Barron. So Bishop Barron and many other bishops, of course, were united in their disgust of this portrayal, as were even non-Catholics, non-Christians even. Some of them spoke out against it. So I don't know if that's taking things in the right direction or not, but it just goes to show that you can find support sometimes in surprising places, and I think that's at least an encouraging sign as the world and the Francis Church plunges further into darkness. All right, speaking of the Francis Church, Monsignor Jeffrey Burrill, otherwise known as Monsignor Grinder, is suing the LMNOP dating app Grinder for reportedly failing to protect his data. Being outed as a practicing LMNOP led to his resignation from his top position as Secretary General of the USCCB in 2021. The lawsuit was filed this week in the Superior Court of California. According to the lawsuit, the group Catholic Laity and Clergy for Renewal purchased the priest's data from the app and sent it to the Pillar website, which reported in 2021 on Burrill that the data used were commercially available records correlated to the priest's mobile device. The lawsuit alleges that the app failed to take steps to protect the data from acquisition by third parties. Monsignor Burrill is mainly seeking money, which includes damages, attorney's fees, and injunctive relief. In 2022, Burrill returned to active ministry as a priest in his home diocese of La Crosse, Wisconsin, which happens to be Father Altman's home diocese. So when Father Altman was suspended, Burrill was named a pastor. Then Bishop William Callahan claimed that the priest had engaged in a sincere and prayerful effort to strengthen his priestly vows. Count me skeptical that this priest has this app every single day for several years. Count me skeptical. He hasn't met up with some men. That's kind of mean to say, but back when the church was Catholic, well, let's not say that, but back when the hierarchy was Catholic, this priest would have been sentenced to a life of penance in a monastery so that he didn't ever do any of this stuff again, to ensure that he would not do any of this activity. But now he's suing for damages to his reputation because he's not going to be named a bishop. Although that kind of stuff would get you promoted in the Francis Church. So who knows? There's still hope. No need to file a lawsuit and draw attention to yourself. But that's what he's doing. Honestly, he might win. I think he has a case. But the truth is out, and I wish there'd be more truth about McCarrick and his henchmen, and the people that he promoted. I wish there would be more information about that. Someone find his data. Okay, a Catholic priest in Germany has barred an altar server and lector from his duties because he works for the Alternative for Germany party. The Archdiocese is backing the priest's decision. In early July, parish priest Father Rolf Dunker informed 20-year-old Julian Bert Schaefer that he could no longer serve as an altar server, lector, and organist in the parish of St. Francis of Assisi in Hamm in northwestern Germany. Dunker cited Schaefer's active involvement with the party as incompatible with these volunteer duties. While polling has shown the party as the second most popular party in Germany, it is variously described in the media as outfit, which is basically means that it probably certain principles of the Catholic faith, because that's how we're portrayed here. The party has announced legal steps in response, so hopefully they, because this volunteer and organist belongs to the Conservative Party of Germany, they're suspending him. So that's nice that they're taking legal action, but really this guy should just shake the dust off his feet and go to the SSPX. I mean, the German hierarchy has completely lost the faith. There is no faith in the hierarchy of Germany. Well, that's not true. I mean, who knows? Some of them might actually believe in the Catholic faith, but by and large, you're not going to find it in mainstream Catholic churches in Germany. You're not going to find the Catholic faith. It's a real disgrace. Okay. Thanks for joining me on the live stream. The bishops of the Chaldean Synod on July 16th issued a statement declaring their position on the blessing of LMNOP unions. The Synod asserted that the Chaldean Church does not recognize LMNOP unions as marriage, as a legitimate and correct form of marriage for them is one that unites one man and one woman to form a family. The statement concluded by firmly rejecting the blessing of LMNOP unions in order to preserve the sanctity of marriage as one of the 7 sacraments of the Church. So they were rejecting Francis's LMNOP blessings, whether outright or not. So that's good. Another Eastern Rite rejects Francis's LMNOP blessings. The Francis and Kissy Church. Okay, and the next story is the Holy See forced a strange hybrid version of the Latin Mass and Novus Ordo on the traditional sisters of the Institute of the Dominican Sisters of the Holy Spirit in Pont-Calais, France. The Vatican requires that the Novus Ordo liturgical calendar be used, so that's probably a change, I would assume. The Novus Ordo must be celebrated in all houses once a month on weekdays. 1 week a month, 1 week a month on weekdays, and Holy Mass remains for 3 weeks and the Sundays. So the Latin Mass remains for 3 weeks and the Sundays. The readings are to be taken from the Novus Ordo lectionaries. The Novus Ordo prefaces are to be used at all Mass. Very strange combination of the Latin Mass and the Vatican calls these measures a step toward the discovery of the Novus Ordo. The sisters will retain the Latin, the Gregorian chant, and the priest facing toward the altar for now. And another news, I listened to an interview. I talked about this a few weeks ago, I think, of the group of traditional Carmelites who were founding a monastery in Florida that was independent from a diocese, and unfortunately, it seems like that's what's going to have to be. The steps are going to have to take in to do that, so that you can preserve, so that any of these religious orders can preserve their charisms and traditions, which is really sad. It's really pathetic, honestly. No one's going to stand up for them. Okay. Another late, well, I guess I wouldn't call it a late breaking story, but so this story, I happened to notice it, and I actually caught it on my Twitter page. I have the screenshot. So the Vatican posted the Vatican Synod account posted on Friday on Twitter that they posted a poll, and the poll asked, "Do you believe that synodality as a path of conversion and reform can enhance the mission and participation of all the baptized?" And 88% responded no, which led them to delete the poll. But I have a screenshot on my Twitter, so I can. So it's permanent. So it shows that they asked, synodality, what would you call it? The whole farce, scam, sham, whatever you'd like to describe it. What would you describe synodality? But anyway, the whole point, or the whole idea that they're trying to push is that synodality is like everyone, the opinions of everyone matter. But then they posted a poll and they realized that synodality is unbelievably unpopular, universally unpopular in the Catholic Church. I mean, if you can get Catholics to agree on certain things, it seems as though they would say that synodality is completely useless and pointless. And that's one thing that a lot of Catholics can agree upon. A lot of them traditional or normie conservative or whatever. We can at least agree on the fact that synodality is an attempt to destroy church doctrine, or overturn it at least. So this was a huge embarrassment from the Synodal Church, and I do not expect that they will be asking for the input of lay people anytime soon, besides the lay people that they handpick who are opposed to the Catholic faith, like the ones that they selected for the Synod, who are radical anti-Catholics who oppose, or who support the idea of women priests and all that heretical garbage. And then most recently, I see this article. So, Vigano commented on Michelle Obama, but that's not the only Obama thing I'm going to be talking about. Believe it or not, I don't really follow politics very much, and I try not to talk about politics. However, this article I found interesting. So there are 213 email documents detailing the collaborative efforts of the City of Chicago, State of Illinois, Exelon Energy Company, New Life Centers. New Life Centers is an Obama Foundation affiliate, and Catholic Charities, and prioritizing the resettlement of illegal immigrants over the needs of American citizens. So an Obama Foundation affiliate is working with Catholic Charities on an initiative in Chicago. Does that surprise anyone, given the idea of Chicago's history of anti-Catholicism and communist activism? I don't think so. I mean, Chicago is just a horrible place. Let's see. Okay, yeah, taxpayer money. Illinois taxpayer money is getting funneled to this. No surprise. No surprise. How do I go back? Oh, okay. Let's get to the comments here. About Obama twice. If you have a son, will you do everything you can to get him away from Monsignor. You will do everything you can to get him away from Monsignor Grinder. How could you take this Monsignor seriously? Well, I mean, that's a good question, but it seems as though the bishops take him seriously. How did he get to his position in the USCCB? He was the secretary for the USCCB. How many bishops knew about his personal life? I think that's a really, I think that's a good question we need to ask. Now that we know, now that we know, it's a good question we need to ask the bishops. Who knew about Monsignor Grinder's personal life? How did he get there? And did they vote for him because they knew about his personal life? I think that's it exposes more than just one person. I think it exposes a portion of the USCCB. How many of the USCCB bishops, how many of the USCCB, how many of the bishops in the United States are living a lifestyle similar to Monsignor Grinder? Sorry, best advice for new Catholics. What's the best advice for new Catholics? Oh, it's keep them away from the Monsignor, yeah. Yeah, although I would be careful and I'd be careful to not put too much trust in anyone, honestly. Especially now that you hear about certain things and anyway. A mosque condemns the depiction of Christ at Paris in 2024 Olympics, and Francis has not. Okay. In fact, Archbishop Paglia of the Pontifical Academy for Death seemed to like the opening ceremony of the Olympics, no surprise. Oh, and then Paris suffered a power outage, but there's a church that was still lit up. So, okay. And let's see. Okay. Oh, also, I talked last week about, and I didn't even put it on the agenda this week. I talked last week about the supposed now rumor that Francis rejected the document to crack down on Latin masses once again, because I think Roach put it on his desk the one time, and then this other new guy put it on his desk again, and Francis rejected both of them. And I think that's more of Francis not trying to limit the power of all these guys, and also it seems like he enjoys kind of making people angry sometimes. So I think I talked about that the last time. And if you've been listening to this or watching this channel, watching the EVTN news, you'll know that has been a pretty consistent, like, what do I say, statement, or I want to say I kind of called it. I kind of called that. I didn't think it would be a crackdown, but basically this is more indication that's this Novus Ordo imposed on the nuns. That's more of an indication that things are slowly going sour instead of all at once, and that's sort of the Marxist plan, is just slow infiltration, slowly crushing the mass. Sorry, what's the best advice for new Catholics? I would say find a traditional liturgy, whether it's the Latin Mass or a good Eastern Rite liturgy. That's where you're going to get the best. What's the best advice for new Catholics? That's where you're going to find the most fulfilling parts of Catholicism in these apostolic rites. So whether it's the Latin Mass or Eastern rites that are done well. Pray the Rosary. That's not. I mean, the Eastern Catholics don't necessarily pray the Rosary, so I don't want to say you're not a good Catholic if you don't pray the Rosary, but that's a good baseline. A good baseline devotion is the Rosary, so do that. If you can, read some traditional books. So I really like The Secret of the Rosary by St. Louis de Montfort. I'm reading some good stuff. I'm going to review a few books coming up here. Hopefully sometime soon. I just finished a few ones. I'm reading some interesting new books. Well, new to me. They've been around for quite a while, as you'll see coming up in the future. I don't know how long it'll take me to read them, but when I'm done, I'll review them. Or I don't know if I want to call it. I mean, I call it a book review, but I don't know if it's really a review. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I just kind of want to get that out there. I just want to get a lot of books out there that I've read and just encourage other people to read and comment if you have read stuff. And if you have a favorite, do you have favorite books, let me know. Favorite Catholic books. So, all right. Well, that's all I have today. So let me see if there's any okay, there we go. All right, no new comments on the live chat. So always happy to read your comments, everyone. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. We are the laity, and we will not be silent.